Alright guys, giving you a wee look at my Blu-ray collection today. It's on alphabetical order, starting off at the numbers. Very good show, highly recommend it. Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg produced it. Very good. Just as good as Pacific, which we'll get to later. One of the best incarnations of Batman, the animated series and its sequel, Batman Beyond. Recently I became a bit of a Snyder fanboy, so got all the Snyder films. Blade Runners, great movies, the Blade Runner films. One of my favourite classic horrors, found footage, started the whole trend, the Blair Witch Project. And now we're into the films with blue in the title. Blue is the warmest colour, Blue Valentine and Blue Velvet. Blue Velvet is a classic David Lynch film. One of his most accessible films, so I highly recommend watching that if you want to get into the David Lynch filmography. Boyhood, a film filmed over, is it 10 years or 8 years? 12 years. Very, very good. It was groundbreaking. The Breakfast Club, a classic 80s film. Call Me By Your Name, a very good film, a very nice romantic film. Very much enjoyed the first season of Castle Rock, the Stephen King adaptation of his books, but still haven't seen the second season, but I've got it there to watch soon. On to the season. Colour Out of Space is a classic modern horror film starring the great Nicolas Cage. Cowboy Bebop in the film, great film and great show. Highly recommend it. It's an anime, but it's more Western accessible, so if you want to get into anime, I highly recommend Cowboy Bebop. You can pick up this Blu-ray set at FOP and HMV for about 50 quid, but it's usually on sale for 35, so pick it up when you get the chance. David Byrne's American Utopia on Broadway. Actually seen the show on Broadway a couple years ago. Very good, very good. One of the best shows I've ever been to. Dread, one of the best comic book films ever made. Got this in a charity shop for £2. It's 3D as well. Very good for the price. And now we're into other animes such as Evangelium, which is my favourite anime. This is the first re-release of the show since the 90s and it's on Blu-ray. Costs about £45 for the full series and the films, but that's a bargain, especially because it comes with all the original voices and the original dubs. Evil Dead and its remake. Great films. One of the few examples where the remake is just as good as the original. The Godfathers, classic films. If you want a nice heartwarming film, watch Frances Ha by Noah Baumbach. It is a truly heartwarming film about a woman coming to terms with her ageing in this life and aspiring goals. And here we are, my favourite comedy, Groundhog Day, starring Bill Murray and Andy McDowell. Very funny. A lot of movies nowadays are doing the time loop, but the original always done it the best. Heart of Darkness, the behind-the-scenes filming of Apocalypse Now. Actually only on Apocalypse Now on DVD, but got this for a couple of pounds in FOP in Glasgow. And you know what? Very, very insightful. Crazy behind-the-scenes stories on that film. It Follows. Now that's a film if you want to watch a new modern horror film from 2015, I'm sure. Classic. And here's my favourite film of all time, Lost in Translation, starring Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson. Classic. Truly a classic. I might be saying that a lot, but this is a reason why it's considered to be a classic. Come on, Criterion, re-release it, because it truly deserves it. Mr. Robot, you can watch all that on Amazon Prime, but the first season, it's a very good show. Definitely worth watching. Only 4 seasons, 10 episodes apiece. Won't take you that long to watch all, and it is truly worth the watch. You will be enthralled from the start. Another Criterion in my collection, Night of the Living Dead. A real classic horror film. One of the first films one of the first films ever to have a African American as the lead, so it was ahead of its time. And George Romero, may he rest in peace. Old Boy, great Korean film. Definitely worth a watch if you want to get into Korean cinema. The Royal Tenenbaums, another Criterion Collection film. Another one of those heartwarming films. And on to the Screams. Still haven't seen the new one, but nothing will beat the first one. Shame. Great drama. Extremely depressing. And my favourite animated film of all time, Into the Spider-Verse. Truly, truly, truly breathtaking visuals. You can only really understand if you ever watch the movie. A new pickup, Andrei Tarkovsky's Stalker, based off the Russian book Walk in the Park, and then adapted into a video game series in the early 2000s for PC. The sequel will be coming out end of this year, all things hoping. Talking Heads, the original American Utopia. Rest in peace, Jonathan Demme. Made a great concert movie. And there's not many great concert films, they're all just lacking. They're just recordings, but that was something new. Something people hadn't seen before. And on to Twin Peaks. One of the best TV shows ever made. Lynch he has a way of putting the unknown onto the screen. And Watchmen, great Snyder film. And then we're on to the last films. Yakuza, You Were Never Really There, which is too depressing for me. Watched it once, good movie, but just completely soul destroying. Snyder's Justice League. Wasn't one of those fanboys to begin with that was shouting for the Justice Snyder's cut, but once I watched it, I could understand what the hype was about. And one of the best thrillers you'll ever watch, Zodiac. Zodiac is just... It might be 3.5 hours, but it's truly worth sitting down to watch. And that there is my Blu-ray collection. From A to Z. Goodbye.